Welcome back, everybody, and I have a pretty cool video right here. So Charizard versus Blastoise. Cool thing is that Blastoise is a 100% maxed out. He's actually a friend of mine, and he was like asking me if I wanted to do this, and I was like, absolutely. So I went ahead and we did it. And then there's going to be a few more pretty neat battles here. So we have quite a few things I want to talk about. Thanks to Cody Johnson, he left quite a lengthy comment describing things I should talk about. And wow, thank you, Cody. So first thing we're going to talk about is the buddy. Walking with your buddy. Could we possibly get our buddies to appear on the map with us, like in Heart Gold and Soul Silver? That would be pretty neat. I thought that's how it was going to be from the get-go when they released the buddy thing, but I was greatly disappointed right away. Yeah, that's something we could look forward to, or maybe that could possibly happen in the future. Let's go ahead and also talk about PvP, and I'm just picking these at random. He put a list of things. So let's talk about PvP or tournament mode. Perhaps a gym in kind of like a raid sense will turn into a tournament, and you will show up depending if you battled that gym, or depending on the requirements to become part of this tournament. Say you had to do 13 raids, or 10 level 4 raids, or 2 legendary raids, or when the legendary raids go away, maybe just a certain amount of raids and then a certain amount of gym battles and then a specific level. And then you show up there, and then you get maybe a code or something, and then it doesn't have to be that difficult, but it should be at a gym, and it will be taken over. It'll be like a tournament mode gym, and then you guys can battle it out, and the specifics can be, we can talk about the specifics for a while here, but that's the gist of it. All right. Also, a possible Pokestop, Pokestops turning into Pokecenters. All right, so that would be pretty cool if they, you know how they changed some gyms straight up into, or some Pokestops straight into gyms. That would be neat if they can just change Pokestops into a Pokecenter, so you can go heal your Pokemon at the center. Maybe it will cost you 10 coins, and you could heal all your Pokemon, and it'll revive them, everything, okay? Let's go ahead and talk about the next thing here. Now, I don't know how I feel about this one. I personally would never change my team, but the ability to possibly change teams once, kind of like your name, you can change your name once, but I don't know how that's gonna really work out, because I feel like one team is just gonna get completely abandoned, and another team is just gonna get strengthened in their numbers like dramatically. So there's that change of team. Don't know how I feel about it, but there's also that idea. All right, next idea is to have effects: toxic, paralyze, spikes, all that good stuff. But the thing about it is I would love that, and it would have been neat back in the level 10 gym days where the CP stays the same. But now I feel like the gyms are so quick and so weak that those things would be pointless, to be honest. Like something that was poisoned during your battle, say if it had like 1500 CP, and its health was being dropped little by little, that would just make the game way too easy. I'm not trying to down talk on this idea. I'm just saying that something's got to change. It's got to go back to the old way. Not all the way, but the CP has to be up there. Otherwise, effects are just going to make it way too easy to take out gyms. But there's another idea. So let's go ahead and go on to the next one here. Okay, so now let's talk about possibly maybe battling wild Pokemon that you're trying to catch, like in the main series game. But I'm gonna put a little twist onto this one, Cody. So I think you shouldn't battle every Pokemon. I think that might be a bit time consuming. What should happen is it could be at random if it has good IVs, or if it's like a stage 2 Pokemon like a Dragonite, Machamp, something wild, you know. Then you should battle it, possibly. And if you bring its health down too much, then it's gonna faint and you're not gonna be able to catch it. Just a thought. Like I said, most of these topics can be talked about for quite some time, but I'm just trying to throw these ideas out here that he left on the page, so we can just, it's food for thought, okay? So that's my take on that. Let's go ahead and talk about the next one here. Okay, so this one's pretty interesting. A one type or two type gym. Basically, say if you throw in a Nidoking, that's ground poison, and then the next person has to put in either ground or poison. And say they put in a Crobat, so that's poison and flying, right? It has to stay specifically to the first type of Pokemon that you put in, and it'll lock it in there. So if that Nidoking gets knocked out, and then the Crobat's there, and it's flying and poison, so that those are the two types that you can put in now, it has to originally stay with what the Nidoking was when he first dropped in there. So you have a bunch of ground and then poison types. And this goes throughout any type of Pokemon that you drop first, water, then all water, or whatnot that you have, okay? So there's another thing to think about, and let's go ahead and go on to the next one here. Okay, so I would personally love this, but I'm starting to think, this is kind of kind of a kid's game, even though most people that are playing nowadays are adults. So what is it? A friends list. That would be pretty neat. That would actually be very nice. So you can see when you have your friends are online, or maybe what location they're at. And if you don't want people to know what you're doing or what location, there'll be a settings to maybe turn off your location or just appear offline. And that would be pretty neat. I think that'd be pretty cool. So this is a little silly glitch here. Enjoy that. I just thought I'd record that for you guys. That was my Blossom. Somebody was trying to take it out. I was just feeding it, and seen all the silly blossoms at the top and the gym symbol, so I thought I'd record it. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about the next topic here. All right, let's talk about the status effects again one more time. Toxic, paralyze, all that good stuff, burn. So I said it wouldn't be too great of an idea because the Pokemon are just so easy to take out in the first place. And a lot of you could say, well, that's for you because you have high CP Pokemon. Some of us, it takes a while. That's true. But the majority of people, doesn't take them too long to take out a gym. We have to be realistic. But then I was getting to thinking here, what if, these effects, we had these effects in game, but then again, if you're fighting a raid boss, that's another story there. So thought I'd throw that one out there too. Actually would work against a raid boss, so yeah. Okay, this one's actually a very neat idea, considering you can put it anywhere, even by your house. And that is a garden, like in the main series games, where you can possibly collect seeds from Pokestops that are pretty rare, and that you would have to buy the garden through the store, and then you can plant it anywhere. And what happens is that garden will stay there for, let's say, 30 days. Or whatever time length, and what you can do is you can plant the berries or the seeds, and then berries will grow there. So then you can just take your berries, and nobody else can see that, only for you. Maybe there would be an option if you wanted to be a generous person, or if Niantic wanted to make a little bit more money, there would be like a community garden where you can just buy a bigger one, and it will benefit you when people take your berries, so you're not just getting ripped off or something. So that's another good idea. Okay, so I personally like all of these, but this one is a really good one here, is for that the raid bosses, the CP change upon how many players you have and the level of the players. The game could automatically determine how strong you are and what kind of Pokemon you have and the level you are, and change the time of which you have to beat that raid boss and the CP. Not to make it impossible or something, but something like that. So for lower levels who are trying to do this, if the game detected only like level 20s, that they can make it a little bit simpler. But now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know how I would like that, because I think if it was a level 4 raid boss, that if you can't do it, then maybe you shouldn't be able to do it. You know what I mean? I'm not saying be punished, but we work hard to be strong so we can do these things. So I don't know about that one so much, but let's go ahead and talk about the next one here. Okay, so I'm pretty sure this is going to come to the game one day. I'm not going to say soon or anything like that, but that's breeding. And he made the suggestion of kind of like a Nintendog style interactive deal there, instead of just using them as tools for candies, he quoted, which is a good idea. So you basically just play with them and do whatever, and then they, breed. So we'll have to see. Well, that's something I'm pretty sure that's going to come to the game. And another thing about that is there should be a special stop where you have to go. Like a Pokestop will change into these breeding places, just like in the main series games. And you go there, you take 2 Pokemon, and you could breed them. And CP, IVs, movesets, all that are variables will be transferred between the 2, male and female, and go into the baby. And he could possibly breed one of the perfect types of Pokemon you want. Even though we have TMs making that easier to change moves, but nonetheless, you would be able to transfer possibly legacy moves or good IVs. So that's another thing to think about. Okay, now I'm going to put my own twist into this. He recommended that the gold badges, depending on how many you have, will qualify you to enter into special kind of tournaments, possibly like Elite Four. And here, this is where I'm going to throw my own twist in. There needs to be new gyms that are computers, not bots, but computers made by Niantic, which is a set team that is always there for everybody to battle, and it will rotate every once in a while. Now, this is an idea that I've had for a while, and I would love to see that, say, the Elite for Ice, or the Elite for Ghost, or Poison, the Dragon, the Fighting, and whatever, and so on and so on, or maybe just gym leaders, and then you have to get all the gym badges, and then you work your way up until the Elite Four. Now, this is not something that would take a couple days. This will take up to like 30 days. There would be a time window. Everybody would know about it. Okay, go out and get your badge, and then do your thing, and then finally they'll release the Elite Four, and everybody can go battle that. Of course, there wouldn't just be one of those gyms. I think it would get a little bit clustered with people, but just another thing for thought there. So let's go ahead and go on to the next subject. We're kind of running out of time on this video, so there's so much we can talk about. I can go on and on. On one of these subjects, I can talk for so long, but I'm just kind of trying to like skim it through. So let's go ahead and move on to the next thing here. Now, this is an interesting one, but it could also possibly break Pokemon Go as far as battling goes, and that is abilities like Hustle or Serene Grace, or just random things like that. What does Hustle do? That increases your attack and it lowers your accuracy. So you'd be missing, but at the same time you do more damage. Slacking, for instance, he can only attack once every other turn. Shed Ninja, and you can only hit it with super effective moves. Things like that. But then the game could get quite broken. For instance, like Gengar has Levitate. That wouldn't make the game broken, but so many people would be lost because the game's been like this for so long. But that's just another thing to think about there. Okay, let's go back onto battle the Pokemon before you catch it. So maybe the option for you can battle anything that you encounter. There'll be an option to set it yes, battle it, or no. And possibly if you battle them, seeing it's going to take a little bit longer, it might increase its stats a little bit, or you might get a little bit more Stardust or candies because you put in a little bit more effort. So that's just another thing. There's so much more, guys, but we're going to have to cut it here. I hope you enjoy this, and I'm going to probably be doing a lot more like this, except for more in depth on one subject for the whole video. So take care.